dear brothers and sisters. So this plant I have before me is holy basil, or tulsi. It is an amazing, beautiful, wonderful gift for all of us, and I strongly suggest using it. And I don't mean like using it in the sense of like abusing it. I mean having it to help supplement your existence. It's one of like the top 10 of all the Ayurvedic healing herbs in the whole entire world. It is revered in India. Krishna made all his disciples eat it, and the reason why is because it is a nerve tonic. It basically neutralizes stress hormones in the body. Well, let me rephrase that. It makes the cell not pick up stress hormones that are secreted in the body. So basically the cells go, no, I'm not going to carry that baggage anymore. And yeah, so I have a lot of seeds. And if you want seeds from me, message me. If you give me a small donation, enough that I can at least cover the shipment of wherever you want me to send them, I will send you some seeds. And also, if you want to get more, I will use the fundage to help everything and everyone, because I understand that we're all one, so I know that to help you is to help me, and to help anybody is to help yourself, really, ultimately. Only one universe. And so what I'm going to do, and that's why I'm making this video, is I'm going to show you something that probably no one's ever showed you before. And it is one of the most important things that we can teach anyone. Our children need to know this. You need to know this, because this is what brings you closer to yourself. Because we are nature. We've been conditioned to not be ourselves, to not be our nature. And because we've been conditioned to not be our nature, we perish. Basically, we lose our body systems because our body systems are functioning so out of whack from ourselves, from the true oscillations of our universal self, that they can't hold themselves together. It's basically like the vehicle, the car not getting the proper fuel and the proper lubrication for all the joints and everything. So the body basically functions exactly like the body is a vehicle that houses the consciousness that is us. That is us. And it is very important to remember that we're not the body so much as the body is an extension of us. It is an extension, so you could say it is us. It is the manifested part of us. It is our idea solidified, even though it's not really solidified because it's just vibrating light. But it is still our idea brought into form. And it needs to be honored. The body is the temple. It is the most glorious gift. It is the most valuable thing any of us has. All this other material, everything is not remotely as valuable as what you already have. So basically, this is the breath of life. This technique is a lifesaver technique. Not only does it build a beautiful rapport with the plants that you eat, or even if you don't eat them, you can do the breath of life on any plant. Just at a park, you can do it with the trees. You can do it with anything. You can do it with the grass. Like anything, any universal extension of yourself is going to benefit greatly from this exchange of energy. Because like breath is energy. When I breathe in, that's my generation aspect of life. When I breathe out, that's my radiation aspect of life. Basically, intake is life, outtake is death. And so when I take my out breath and I give to a plant, I'm giving my full expression of energy to the life force of its intake. And that's what love really is. It's a balanced, rhythmic exchange of energy between all beings. And so the breath of life technique is literally a close, intimate relation with the natural expressions of ourself, the universe, and an exchange of energy. And so with the holy basil, these are all these little flower pods is where all the seeds come out, and they produce beautiful little flowers. You can see these little flowers, beautiful little flowers. And if you want these to really bush out and get more, I wanted to reduce quite a bit of seeds, so I stopped. Because you pinch right at the node, basically, where there's a couple leaves that come out, and the pod comes out, you clip there, and then another more leaves come out, and you keep on doing that, and then it gets bushier and bushier and bushier and bushier. And I've done that many times with this. Holy basil is amazing. If you don't kill it and you take care of it, it'll grow for a long, long time. There's a Krishna temple in Vancouver, and they have holy basil there that are about 17 years old, which is beautiful. So, and they stand about 12 feet or 10 and a half, 12 feet tall. Yeah, and it smells amazing. It's not like a traditional basil. It's so it's not just a culinary flavoring. It's a medicinal herb that, if used properly, will benefit your existence amazingly. Like, basically, get off the cheese. Get off the cheese and start eating holy basil. Cheese is too much of a thickening agent. It bogs you down. It turns you into slows you down, brothers and sisters. Slows you down so much. Even milk in itself is rough. But like cheese, that one, please, brothers and sisters, stop eating cheese. It's not helping you in any way. Yeah, so it tastes good, yeah, but so does pure white sugar. But it tastes good, but it kills you. It's like death for you. So, honor your vehicle. You only get one of them. Brothers and sisters, you only get one. Only get one. Of course, you'll re-embody, and that is another aspect of you, but the perceiver that you are at this moment, that expression of consciousness that you are at this moment, will only get this experience now with that vehicle that you have. So honor it and take care of it. And so the breath of life is literally where you get close to your plant. The most efficient way to do the breath of life is when you find the newest leaf. The newest leaf nodes is like new lungs on the plant, and they absorb your CO2. The difference between 400 ppm CO2 and 600 ppm CO2 is 50% increase of growth. So that's huge. That's the difference between 5 pounds of tomatoes and 7.5 pounds of tomatoes on a plant. Right? And that's huge. That's just from the difference in the ppm of the CO2. And so when you get really close, so let's find one. Yeah. This is where the gift and the life happens, because as you get in to the plant, like when you get really close into this beautiful extension of you, because this is you, this plant that you're breathing to is you. It is not separate from you. It is you. It's just another aspect of you that doesn't function like your body system does, or the way that you've been taught to function. And so, but there's no separation. So there's some beautiful little nodes here. So I'm going to get really close to these nodes, and I'm going to take the deepest, longest, slowest breath right from my diaphragm. It is deep and as low and as slow as I possibly can. And I'm going to breathe in. And so I'm basically absorbing pure, clean air. Because this plant, this beautiful, wonderful gift, what it does is it filters and cleans and purifies for me. And then when I give it back, I'm giving it back life too. And so then I get life from it, and then it gives life back to me, and then back and forth. And it's the breath of life. And ultimately, all little ones, all children in the whole entire manifest universe, their foremothers and forefathers need to teach them this technique. Because, my child doesn't sit still, he doesn't blah blah blah, he doesn't this, he doesn't that. it's like, well, have you taught him any really efficient habits? Have you helped him to facilitate any really beneficial structurings? And most parents don't even know what a beneficial structuring is. Like, so, like, beneficial structuring, posture is one of the most important, like, keeping the body straight. Who would have thought that keeping the body straight is such an important thing, huh? Considering that we're balanced, that's what our true universal self is, balance. Having a good structure facilitates that perfect spin of all of our chakras. Basically, all the nerves and all the veins and everything are open to their fullest, and so energy flows at its fullest. It's like if I were to kink one side of my body system, I'm inhibiting a whole bunch of energy. Like, and you should just look from a science standpoint about like how much blood will get to your brain, or lack of blood will get to your brain when you inhibit the flow of your veins. Like, even if it's only like 0.5 of a liter a day, which is huge as far as I'm concerned. Imagine that compounded over a year or 10 years. Like, ouch. Sitting on couches. Get off these squishy beds that cripple you. Sleep on a hard surface. You don't need to have a huge squishy bed that doesn't also support your spine. If you sleep on that stuff, you will die. You will get crippled. It'll cripple you. You'll have no support, no foundation. It is very important to keep a foundation. We must build our home on stone. We can't build it on sand. I love you all with all my heart. I love myself with all my heart, and I'm you, and you are me. We are the universe together. Unless you truly realize this, unless you truly realize yourself, that I'm talking to you, self talking to you, then you won't hear my message. You'll just discount it. You'll be like, oh, that guy's tripping. That guy, you, is tripping, hey? I know I express information a lot. It's because this is the opportunity that I have to reach you. And I want to put that energy in, because if I don't put that energy in, who will? If I'm not going to take the time and energy to genuinely love my brothers and sisters, myself, and give them everything that I have, then I'm selling myself short. I'm giving up on myself. And I will not do that. I will never, ever, 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 ever give up on myself. I never have, and I never will. So not only is this one of the most healing and beneficial things one can do, it makes you feel really amazing. And the reason why is because you're getting pure, clean air, filtered air from this beautiful plant, and you're exchanging that energy back and forth, and it's feeding your life force. And then the sustenance that is generated, the balanced vibrations that is benefited or developed, that which benefits you based on the intake of the plant also is amplified an astronomical amount because it knows that it's sustaining you. Another way of getting a plant to literally grow for your body system is to place the seed in your mouth, and you leave it in your mouth for about 9 minutes, give or take. What it does is it absorbs your fluids from your saliva. So the very first source of information that the seed basically gets from its surroundings when it starts to germinate is that of your genetic makeup, your body system's genetic makeup. And when that when it has that information, it basically has a blueprint of building for your body system. So if you're deficient in a certain element, it'll pull more of that element out of the soil for you. It'll literally grow for you. It's your body system's plant. And the reason why it does this is because they are love, function as love. There isn't any deception in them. There isn't any malfunction program in them. They are vibrancy expressed. And they have no other purpose other than to serve themselves, which is you. They want to serve themselves because they know the healthier the gardener is, the healthier they are. And they know that you're the gardener. And so their purpose is to serve us. And our purpose is to serve them. We serve each other. We work in a relationship of balanced exchange of energy with all of the fauna and all of the flora of this whole entire manifested earth. Without this, without these, we have no future. We have no bodies. We lose our bodies. These are as much a part of our body systems as our hands and our feet are. Another way to increase plant growth is to give them balanced energy. When I mean balanced energy, I mean basically an oscillation of your soul, an oscillation of your you, which I guess if you're not balanced might be difficult, but at least you can intend to give them energy, and that is a really beautiful place to start. It's basically like, if someone likes ponies and you give them a donkey, the thoughts there, it's not exactly the proper energy exchange, but at least you gave them an animal that is hoofed and resembles a horse and has similar characteristics. It might not exactly have been the pony, but it is in the right category. And so that's basically a great place to start, giving the gift, even if we don't give the right gift. So, trying what is what's important. Trying to be genuine and kind and having integrity. And integrity, from this angle's perception, is basically honest self-assessment. And it is just trying to be yourself to the best of your ability, honoring your being to the best of your ability. And there's a difference between self-centered and ego-centered. Most beings are ego-centered. They focus on an idea of who they think they are, I'm Joe, I'm Fred, I'm Bill, I'm Steve, blah, blah, blah. They don't really focus on the truth of who they are. Because here's a question that all beings can ask themselves. If you didn't have a label, would you still be? If you had no label, would you still be? And the obvious answer is of course. So does that make you the being or the label? Haha. So it's impossible to be Fred. It's impossible to be that label. It's impossible to be still, or to be Bill or Steve or Mary or Jane, blah blah blah. The label is the signpost pointing in the direction. It isn't the being, which is a misconception. Like when you ask someone, it's like, "Hi, I'm this." It's like you're the being that labels itself that. If only like 10% actually knew that in this world. 10% of everybody. Just the astronomical change that would happen. If they just knew that. That alone. If they knew they were the universe. Just imagine if 10% actually knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that they were the whole. Playing an individual part. Of course. We're all meant to be individual aspects of the universe. But playing as the whole. Living as the whole. But being the individual part. So it's like conscious movement within the whole, as whole, but being the individual. Could you imagine how beautiful and vibrant everything would be? How much wonderful life force would be expressed? So back into the energy exchange with the plant. Vibration, sound. I'm talking to this plant. It's picking up everything that I'm expressing right now. And I'm talking from love. So it's picking up balanced vibrations from me because I'm expressing as who I am. A beautiful way to help plants to grow is to give them a frequency of your soul with intention of healing and growth and renewal. Like setting your intention to give your best. That helps us facilitate. It's like if you ever do staring meditations, when you look into your brother's or sister's left eye, you see them as their best. You see them as the most beautiful, vibrant, amazing, wonderful beings that they are. And when you do that, you create that. So see the best in your brothers and sisters all the time. Bless them. Bless yourself. Because they're you. It's intelligent to bless yourself. Go around, walk down the street, see everyone and bless them. They're you. They're you. So you're blessing yourself. You're increasing the function of yourself, the whole. That's intelligence. Okay. So, vibration. Couple minutes a day of that, your plants will bloom amazingly because you're giving them vibration. Like sound is an electrical field. It can be measured, it can be tested. You can see how much amperage, you can see how much voltage is coming from sound. It's like when your speakers, right? How many watts are they? That's how much actual sound can come through them. Like how much energy can be expressed from that certain vehicle. And our voice, our voice box and our diaphragm and our lungs all compounded together to create this beautiful vehicle of energy expression where we can express energy. Like our body is an energy expressor. It basically takes our divine nature, our consciousness, our driving consciousness, and expresses it. And then we move within that. Like, what a glorious gift to have a body. Like, I just hope you treat it a little better, brothers and sisters. Because, like I said before, you only get one. Like, so, and I'm not saying this in any ill meaning or harmful way. I love you all so much. I'm saying this as a brother says to a brother, or a brother says to a sister, or a father says to a son or a daughter. Like, hello, let's take care of ourselves. Let's honor our being. Let's honor ourselves. There's certain things that I don't do, and with this body system. And the reason why I don't do them in this body system is because I know that they're not a beneficial movement pattern. It's like, I don't do drugs, okay? Like, I don't sit there and smoke crack or shoot heroin or drink a bunch of booze, or I don't even smoke marijuana, okay? And the reason why is because it causes imbalances in my electrical field. And those imbalances are difficult to deal with. I stay away from white refined sugar to the best of my ability. Sometimes I eat it once in a while with certain things, mostly unknowingly, because there's a lot of it's very hard to keep on top of everything all the time. I eat at least 98% organic food, and the reason why I do that, because those pesticides, that shit'll kill you. Like, it's not meant to help you. It's not. Herbicides, pesticides, those are death agents. They are meant to kill. They're not gonna bring life. They are meant to kill. I sleep on the ground. I sleep on a hard surface. I have a couple blankets under me, and a blanket on top of me, and I have a pillow. One small pillow, and I have a little copper grounding mat that I plug into my wall, into the ground, into the wall, so that I share electrical transference of electrons with the earth as I sleep. I walk in moccasins, or barefoot, as much as I possibly can. Like, if it's raining, I take off my moccasins. If it's in the snow, I try to wear my moccasins, and I try to figure some way. I'm gonna create a better system, because I have boots that I wear, these work boots that I've been wearing for the winters and stuff. But I want to get into more of a soft-soled moccasin or mukluk for the winter, so I can still share electrons with the earth. I breathe deeply as best as I can. Sometimes I forget and I get caught up in stuff, but I try to the best of my ability to take full breaths. I stretch my vehicle. I expand it. And I compress it. I think positively. I see a lot of the negativity and insanity out there that's very insane, but I don't focus on that insane stuff. I focus on what I'm going to do to build a better vehicle, to purify my vehicle, to be more efficient for my brothers and sisters. Okay? I focus on what's the beneficial movement, not the unbeneficial movement. Because when we focus on the unbeneficial, we manifest it. We create more and more and more. It's like, what you focus on and think about is what you're going to create. We are all creators. We need to focus on things that are going to benefit the whole. And let go of that old paradigm. If enough of us let go of the old paradigm, it just goes away. It is no longer a part of our creation. It just goes away. Shoot, gone. And then all those that were actually facilitating that, do you know what they say to us? Thank you. Because they're trapped in it. And they don't know how to get out. They need our help in order to get them out of it, because they've got themselves over their head. Like, their necks are in quicksand. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. I'm nice and kind as much as I possibly can to myself, which is so important. Even when this angle makes mistakes, I go, practice makes better. It's one of my favorite quotes. Practice makes better. You know, if you can't do a push-up today, if you practice in a week, you'll get one. Practice makes better. Keep on trucking. If you can't, just don't get hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hurt yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind with yourself. What else do I do? Touch the earth. I garden. I grow plants. Beautiful, amazing plants. I do the breath of life. I do a lot of sound therapies, healings with sound. I work with crystals and make metaphysical tools. I read beneficial works. I read a lot of Walter Russell. I read a lot of John Westaway, Eckhart Tolle. Anything really that has a beneficial message. One of the best books that I think every child in the world should have read 6-10 times is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is amazing. It basically says, like, even if the flock, the general population, is stuck in a certain idea system, try to excel even at the expense of being ridiculed by them. Like, put up with the ridicule, because like it's just a fear-based ideology. It's a fear-based thought program. It means nothing. All it does is limit us and limits them. And so push past, even if they reject you, and seek the stars. Fully build to be the best you can be. So Jonathan wanted to fly. He wanted to fly. He wanted to be a master flyer. And so he learned. He practiced. And he learned. It's a beautiful book. I hope you all read it. I hug. Hugs. And I smile. I hug and I smile. I dance. I make music. I sing. I hum. Decalcify the pineal gland. I allow the vibration to express. I be myself. I don't try to be something that I'm not. Why? That is illogical to me. It just doesn't make any sense. Because those that are not true to themselves perish. It is impossible not to, because when you're not true to yourself, you don't honor your vehicle. When you don't honor your vehicle, you do the movement patterns that destroy it. You yourself destroy your own body system. So, I watch beneficial stuff. Try to stay away from watching stuff as best I can. Still have a little bit of an attachment to sense perception through watching media and different things. What else? Obviously meditation. But I'm in a constant state of meditation all the time. If you're in the now, and you're not thinking about some other place, and you're not worrying or anything, you're not living in fear consciousness, you're living in love consciousness, you're in that moment, that's a meditation. That's you living, because there really is no other life but now. Ultimately, I just love. I do mantras. Certain mantras are basically like a rebuilding of neural pathways in the brain, because the brain functions kind of like a moldable highway. Like, I guess you could say a clay mold, that whatever pathways you create in it, they start off small, and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the thought, the electrical current travels on those prominent pathways. And so as you mold beneficial pathways, more energy follows those beneficial pathways. And so there was a time where this angle was extremely destructive. So it like basically remolded and facilitated some beneficial neural pathway building and created some new highways of thought. And that is so important. Getting away from the old thought pattern. Like, so one of the things is to reinforce the truth. I am light. I am love. Reinforcing the truth facilitates restructuring of the body to the truth. A reconnection to the divine blueprint that we all are by acknowledging that divine blueprint. If one doesn't acknowledge the divine blueprint, how is it going to happen? That's like not acknowledging the process of making a cake and expecting there to be a cake. No, it doesn't work that way. Acknowledging the process of making the cake facilitates the cake being created. Ba-bam. So acknowledging the divine blueprint of ourselves facilitates the proper movement patterns in the building processes of bringing about the best self, the true self, the honorable self, the the beauty that we are, the beautiful self, the kind self, the loving self, the real self. I laugh. I laugh at funny things. I laugh at sad things. I laugh at a lot of everything. And the reason why I laugh at the sad things is because they're really sad because of how insane they are. It's like how our state of affairs of our planet is absolutely insane. So I can laugh at the insanity because we are the universe, and most of us are functioning at levels that are really like the thing is, like, this whole idea system that the human consciousness functions is the best. It's like it doesn't even function better than gerbils or squirrels or dogs or cats or none of the actual universal expressions that are functioning from animal forms. Like, none of those destroy their own home. Yet the human consciousness aspect destroys its own home. So it's not even functioning better than a freaking goldfish. Like, so there's been some malfunction in our expression, and the only way to get out of that is to acknowledge its insanity, giggle about how insane it is, and then do the movement patterns to restructure it. And that doesn't mean anything about hurting. There is no hurting in a balanced way of restructuring. You don't hurt yourself if you can get away with it. I don't want to hurt anybody or anything. Nothing. Not a single thing in this whole universe do I have a desire to hurt. Nothing. Nothing. Because I know it's me. I know it's myself. I know it's the universe. So why would I want to hurt myself? I don't have a hate on for myself. I love myself. Anyway, brothers and sisters, you all have a beautiful now. I love you with all my hearts. All my hearts. And I guess I do have many hearts. I mean, I love you with all my heart from this body system. There's other angles out there of myself that love you with all their hearts too. We are waking up. We are growing into a functional divine self again. See your brothers as beautiful and see your sisters as beautiful, and you shall create that beauty in them, and they shall shine like the divine universal beings of light that they are. And from that, utopia. And there's so many word associations that confuse people because they think of something. When I say table, they see a table. I might be thinking of brown mahogany table. They see a yellow whatever table. And so that's why the English language can be so limiting in expression. That's why tone, perfect note actually expresses more information. But this is about keeping the ego but functioning from divine consciousness. So it's like keeping the son and the daughter functioning with the whole. I want the son and the daughter, the ego, to be functional and to be around. That's what causes individuality in God, in us. It's like having a functional son or daughter, the ego. And so, when I said utopia, I didn't literally mean like this fairy tale thing. I just literally meant like a place where we just don't hurt each other. You know, we take care of the planet. We don't poison our water. Shitting in your own water hole is a bad idea. You know, we tend to beautiful plants. We eat beautiful fruit. Oh my god, the fruit. Ah, the most succulent, vibrant, amazing, life-giving fruit you could possibly ever put your lips on. We get that when we take care of ourselves. When we don't take care of ourselves, we fight over scraps of stuff that is toxic. We fight over toxic scraps. See, it's like fighting over scraps of food like a flock of seagulls. It's insane. So, anyway, blessings. Have a beautiful now. Talk to you soon.